I'm Derek Joyce and I'm here with Paul O'Murda, and this is I'm Not the Expert, but this is a podcast where we'll discuss everything from the most complex ideas that we know nothing about to the simplest ideas that we probably know nothing about either. So put the kettle on, get comfy and join us. Have you got a dog?
Yeah, we do. We have a black Labrador Collie Cross called Juno. So, and I just know when she hears this now, her ears are going to prick up. She's going to hear her own name there. So
Go for her.
Yeah.
Why Juno?
We got her in June for our son's birthday. She was a companion dog for him. And yeah, so June, and we had just seen the movie Juno. So,
Yeah, great movie.
And it is.
Yeah,
absolutely
class.
Fantastic soundtrack as well. Yeah, so Juno, she's an absolute pet though. She's so placid and so quiet. She's getting old now. She's 19. But,
Jesus, that is getting on.
That is a run. Yeah, and but come here, she's still sprightly. She's still a puppy at heart. God love her.
That's the way it usually goes, though, isn't it? Yeah. But my mum has a dog, and she's a rescue dog, and she's so timid. Yeah. And she's lovely dog. But anyway, what I want to talk about today is the history of dogs.
Okay, cool.
Because it's crazy interesting. So, I'm going to lay down a couple of facts and just lay the groundwork, and then we're just going to go from there, right?
Okay, cool.
So, 150,000 to 200,000 years ago, early humans were settling places to live all over the planet. So they'd moved out of the cradle of Africa, I suppose you can call it.
Caves, kind of.
Yeah,
So
they started moving, branching out into all corners of the globe.
And starting to kind of live in, villages, well not in villages, but starting to live in groups.
Yeah, well, they were hunter-gatherers, and they would have been kind of nomadic moving through ages. So it was that kind of thing. They weren't alone. Whether protecting, herding or hunting, dogs were with them. Dogs were present with people. Okay?
From that far back,
From that far back.
Wow.
Now...
And how did that come about,
Well, here's the thing. All dogs that you see today on the street or walking with their owners or whatever it is, sniffing lampposts or fire hydrants or whatever you've got, share a common ancestor that people rightfully feared. The grey wolf.
Okay, right, yeah.
So you've seen the movie with Liam Neeson, The Grey?
I actually haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
But it's
I must watch it. I remember seeing trailers for it in the cinema and thinking that looks a great movie. I must watch that, but I never got around to it.
It's fantastic. But it's that wolf. It's the wolf that you look at and you go, oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So Paleolithic tribes were settling Eurasia about 100,000 years ago. So they'd moved out into the planet and they were settling Eurasia 100,000 years ago. People and wolves at that point were not friends.
No.
They weren't friends. They didn't like each other. Wolves have an incredible bite force, right? So when they bite, they can crush bone with the bite. Up to that point, they had no competition. On the food chain, they were top of the food chain. Right. Now, you might think there were saber-toothed tigers knocking about and, those things are going to be pretty ferocious or whatever it was. But they would have been singular.
Yeah.
You would have had one with territory and they only ever cross territory when someone else roams in or when they're looking for a partner. And even then, they're not nice. But they are usually just one. Yeah. Wolves were a pack. So there were a bunch of them.
So they had saber-toothed tiger versus one wolf. Maybe the saber-toothed tiger comes out against a pack of wolves. Yeah. He's dead. Yeah.
It's like if you think of a bunch of hyenas surrounding a lion. That kind of scenario. That's what you'd have. So saber-toothed tiger was the lion. The hyenas are the wolves. And there's just no competition.
Yeah.
So they had no competition at the top of the food chain until humans came along.
Right.
Because now they were faced with, and both were, men and wolves, were faced with confronting something that had never before happened. Yeah. They'd never had it before.
They hadn't met. So, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming humans didn't hunt wolves, more kind of...
Well, they would have never encountered them.
Yeah.
Or at least they...
I know, but when you say they've come into competition then, for the top of the food chain, we didn't eat wolves, did we?
I'm sure if they'd caught one and killed it, they might have eaten, and they'd use its fur for coat. Like you see all these films where all these films where these cavemen are wearing wolf blankets and wolf hats. They didn't get them in the barbers.
True.
So I mean, there was competition, and they were killing each other. So, like people, wolves live in a complex hierarchical social structure, right? So they have a pecking order. When hunting, wolves use their cooperative community skills to take down much larger prey. Yeah. So we're talking mammoths, and we're talking big antelope creatures, because 100,000 years ago they were all fucking huge. It's not the ones that you'd see on the African plains today.
And the wolves would have been fairly big as well back then, would they?
Yeah.
Much bigger than what we have. Not like a
well, we'll get on down to size and takedown and all that kind of thing as we go on.
Okay, cool.
When hunting, wolves use their community skills to take out much larger prey, and they still do. They don't outrun their prey. No. What they do is they run it into the ground. So you'll have them pursue something, and they run them to the point of exhaustion, and the prey item, whatever it is, collapses, and then the wolves just move in en masse.
Pretty horrific way
to
go,
it is.
Isn't it?
It's brutal.
About it, yeah.
Humans offered a threat wolves had never had to deal with before.
Right.
Now, their dominance was threatened. Right, wolves' dominance was threatened by people because they could kill as a community as well. The hunters didn't go out and do solo hunting and bring back a stag or an elk or whatever it was.
Yeah, so level playing field.
It was a more level playing field.
Yeah, something the wolves hadn't encountered before to kind of, a battle of wits, you might say.
However many wits Paleolithic tribes were
but they
were given.
Well, they would have at least been on par with wolves, whereas other animals probably wouldn't.
They were hunter-gatherers, so they could hunt and they could gather. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and they had a social structure.
Yeah.
They had a tribal social community that they had.
I'm assuming they had the ability to kind of learn as well. So where animals tend to act on instinct,
which pretty much Paleolithic people would have acted on instinct and not really logic. I think you're.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, for a wolf without a pack now, people presented an opportunity. So wolves get chased out of packs for whatever reason. The alpha male and the alpha couple, the male and female.
Yeah.
The alpha male mates with all the females in the pack.
In the pack, yeah.
The other males don't mate. They're not allowed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and this is not me saying, don't you fucking put your hands on her. This is a grey wolf alpha.
Yeah, saying don't put your hands on any of them.
Yeah, in the way that wolves do.
Get your filthy paws off. Oh, yeah, okay.
So, for whatever reason, a wolf will be chased out of a pack. If you've got your alpha and beta, I suppose, and you have it tiered all the way down, you're going to have somebody who's the butt of everybody's joke. You're going to have a wolf.
The runt.
Yeah, who's going to be either bummed out of a pack of wolves, or it's just cut out completely, or it's everybody's.
And that's where you get the lone wolf kind of idea from.
So they saw an opportunity, and if they were more passive and less aggressive, they were able to get closer to human encampments and feed off the remains, the leftovers of what humans hunted. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a less aggressive wolf could outlast its pack brethren, and their genetic traits were the ones that were passed on.
Right, so the ones that licked up to the humans, you might say.
Yeah, the suck-ups.
Yeah. They got to survive while...
Well, the others were killed from various means, whether it was from each other, whether it was from a saber-toothed tiger, or whatever it was
humans,
from.
Most likely.
Yeah, or injury. If it got injured, if a wolf gets injured, if Anton gets injured in the wild...
Yeah. The rest of the pack turns on it probably.
No, well, you see, wolves...
What's left behind?
I watched a documentary on wolves, and when they're moving as a pack, not hunting, but when they're moving, the oldest and the weakest move first.
Yes.
The pack only moves as fast as the weekest member. So no one gets left behind. Yeah. So it's actually a really healthy environment.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
As vicious as it is.
Yeah, no, it's actually funny. I haven't thought about that for a long, long time. But the minute you said that, I actually remember it. Yeah.
So the more docile the wolf was, the more successful it was. over time, and we're talking millennia, we're talking evolutionary times. So it's not over the course of 6 months or whatever. It proved useful to the wolves, docile wolves, traits being passed on down through its
so it's survival of the
offspring.
fittest, but not physically fittest or physically aggressive, or it's literally what makes it easier for that species to survive is the trait that actually became dominant.
Is it survival of the fittest, inverted commas, or is it survival of the smartest?
Well, that's
that's
what
I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Those particular traits that became more valuable were the traits that were passed on, as you said. So that's that makes sense.
Yeah. So it proved useful to humans too. When they got past the point of chasing off the first sighting of a wolf, get the fuck out of here, that kind of thing, chase off with spears or kill it, it gradually worked its way in. It proved useful to humans because wolves were used as trackers, they were used as guard dogs, and they were used as sentinels, an alarm system.
Okay.
Long before a human in a tribe of humans would have seen or sensed danger, the wolf would have picked it up because dog senses.
The wolves
are
bark.
so much more.
I know they howl. I know
they
howling at the moon and all that.
Bark, they growl, they snarl. Absolutely. The similar social structure of a wolf pack to that of human tribes meant it was easier for a docile wolf to fit in.
Okay,
it knew its place. It didn't go in and try and be the alpha. It didn't go in and try and control somebody who it felt was below its stature, its societal stature.
It basically went in on that bottom.
It went in as, I'm subservient.
Yeah.
And it got ingratiated itself into the tribe.
And that's literally where man's best friend kind of comes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll get to that because that's crazy interesting.
Okay, cool. I'm finding this crazy interesting, so bring it on, Dale, yeah. Really into this one.
Wolves, being intelligent, because they are, and to survive you do have to be, learned to recognise human commands, even if it wasn't a sit, give me the paw. Because that came way down the line.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But it was grunts and gestures and body language, would have picked up on all of that. Wolves were the first animal to be domesticated by humans, appearing about 33,000 years ago. Wow. They had smaller size, they had shorter snouts, they probably had smaller ears, but they were still wolf-like. It still looked like a wolf. You'd still look at it and go,
that's a wolf.
That's a wolf.
I mean, look at huskies today. You're looking at they still look like wolves.
Yeah. Dogs start to evolve. Now we're skipping on generations.
Yeah, this is what I'm kind of interested in. Like, how did you go from your wolf to your kind of Jack Russell or your pug?
So this is where we'll get to. Dogs start to evolve more into what we recognise now as human lifestyles became more diverse. For instance, if you were a farmer and you farmed sheep, you would need a more controlling, get the flock in one place kind of dog, and that's like where your border collies came from. Yeah. Your Saint Bernards, the way you'd have your idea of a Saint Bernard going and rescuing a mountaineer stuck in a mountain with his thing of whiskey around his neck. Yeah,
brandy.
Brandy. Yeah, I'm not sure how real that is. But you would have had that,
It is definitely a trope, so there has to be some.
You would have had your
and
hunting dogs.
Sense.
Yeah. Well, the dogs and huskies.
For a dog that's, searching in a snowdrift or whatever, to have the likes of, of brandy or whiskey.
Yeah. So there's that. You would have had your shooting dogs, your spaniels, aren't they the springers?
Yeah.
You would have had something like that. Your huskies. Would have been for pulling sleds and snow dogs. Yeah. And the thing is, watching all these kind of subsistence documentaries on the Discovery Channel about the Alaskans, and they've got their huskies and they sleep out in the snow.
Yeah, actually.
And I'd be thinking,
I just want to give a shout out to one of my friends right there. I've got a really good friend called Brandy from Alaska, and she landed in Dublin this morning. So she's
welcome to Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. And
hope you have deep pockets.
I know, yeah.
Okay, but anyway, huskies, and you'd be watching these subsistence documentaries, and these people that live in Alaska, and the snow is everywhere, and these huskies sleep out in the cold. And I know for me, I'd be thinking, fucking dogs, fucking bring them in. It's freezing out. It's snowing.
Yeah.
But they're equipped to live out in the snow and would prefer to sleep. It's easier for them to rest out in the snow. Their fur is that thick than to be brought indoors where it's warm.
Yeah, no,
they prefer to go back out.
Yeah, no, get that. Good friend of mine has a husky, and at this time of the year, he has to bring it walking at like 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah, you'd see it suffering.
It's too hot afterwards, you know.
But so you had dogs for certain scenarios, and dogs became more what we recognise as dogs as humans' lifestyles needed.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Actually, when you think of evolution, like the obvious one is the Paleolithic chart. You know the one from?
Yeah. Are we talking about the guy walking hunched over?
Yes. That's I can't
turns into modern man.
Yes. And then devolves into a football fan. Yeah. Yes, but like when you think of that. It's a natural, it's an environmental...
A natural procession.
But to actually see a species that has directly, like, I know humans have impacted every aspect of life on the planet in some way, shape or form, mostly negative. But to actually see that it's actually had a massive impact on the evolution of an actual species.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, well, that's
like the actual evolution.
People, I don't want to say they engineer, but they've engineered species. They've engineered the whole planet for their own use.
I suppose,
and they've made use of everything: cattle, sheep, chickens. Like they've made use of everything.
I've never thought of that from an evolutionary standpoint.
No, me either.
That's nuts. Like I know now, interbreeding, crossbreeding of and making kind of these designer breeds of dogs and stuff. Like I got that,
which I will get to, and it's disgusting. It's horrible what they're doing.
And the health bloody
the implications.
For the health of the dog and stuff.
But it's not even consideration of the health of the animal.
But it's kind of like to say that dogs were literally created by humans.
Well, they weren't created by humans. They were always wolves.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But wolves and dogs are now two different things. We have wolves and we have dogs, and
but they're not. They share the same ancestor.
I get that. But what I'm saying to you is, dogs evolved because of humans. That they may not have evolved at all had there not been a human.
There'll always be evolution, man.
That's true as well. But would the species dog even exist if it wasn't for the human input? That's mind blowing to me.
Well, that's what I mean about dogs evolved to what we recognise the way when people's lifestyles started evolving.
That's what I'm saying.
Start diversifying. Sorry, excuse me.
Direct input in the actual evolution of a species. That's nuts.
Yeah, it is, and I'm sure we've done that with many more.
I'm sure there is. I
haven't looked into it.
I hadn't even thought of it till you said it there, and that's.
Yeah, it's nuts. Anyway, the small dogs and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in Victorian times,
right,
dog types were standardised into breeds that we recognise today via dog shows, via kennel clubs.
Again,
But this is Border Collie, and this is the best example of a Border Collie. These dog shows and kennel clubs. This is a guard dog species, whatever it is, Rottweiler, Doberman, Alsatian, whatever it is, and this would have been, I think.
So they kind of standardised the idea of
but
breeds.
Something in the back of my head. Weren't Alsatians? Didn't they hunt wolves or something like that, or is that Carabash hounds? There's a dog. My uncle used to breed a couple of dogs, and there were Carabash hounds, I think. And they're used for hunting wolves.
I know a lot
Eastern
of
Europe.
What we know today as, I know like nowadays people kind of call Alsatians German Shepherds and German Shepherds Alsatians. They're not the same thing.
Right.
And
I didn't know that.
Well, do you not?
No.
Do you not know where?
What's the difference?
German Shepherds were, Alsatians that were crossbred with wolves.
Okay, so
Not
where
the
do
camps where they're
Alsatians
sheep.
exist?
I'm not sure that was a breed. Like that was, Alsatian was a breed, and then that was crossbred with wolves.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's your guard dog though. Like
Yeah.
yeah. And they just bred German Shepherds. Victorian times, dog types were standardized by kennel clubs and dog shows and all that kind of thing. Some of these dogs were bred for show. So this is where your dog breeds start to come in.
Designer dogs.
Yeah.
That's in Victorian times, you're saying, is it?
No.
Oh, sorry.
But that's when it started.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's when they standardised breeds.
Yeah. And that's when somebody said a smaller, cuter version of that would be nice.
Yeah.
You know, that's still too big. I want something that I can carry under my arm or fit in my handbag. You know that bullshit?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what purpose they serve other than
making
for
you
show.
look good, or other than somebody famous had one, and you know. Sheep followed the trend.
Yeah. And if you look at skeletons, and I don't know dog breeds from anything, but some of the skeletons of some of the dogs look like they're in pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I absolutely do.
The jaw is elongated more than the snout. The back has spine trouble, its hips are weak, or some shit like that. Yeah. So this is where it all started.
Right. I was only reading something recently about pugs.
Yeah.
And like their whole nasal cavity is completely impacted. Like it's compacted.
Yeah.
They suffer terrible with their breeding because they're bred for that snub-nosed, no snout kind of, you know.
Bulldogs suffer with their breeding, and there's that dog with all the folds of skin. Like,
I know the one you're talking about.
That's not cleaned out. Yeah. They get like
lice and different things as well. I imagine they get. Yes.
It's like having folds of skin on your body that you don't bother to clean out.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah.
It's just it's a breeding place for all sorts of fucking shite.
Yeah. No, I don't like the whole idea of kind of designer breeds and fucking around with nature like that. I really don't.
No, neither do I.
It's the animal is always the last kind of consideration.
Yeah.
It's purely for...
It's the welfare of the animal is always last. It's just for...
And I mean, don't get me wrong, owners can absolutely adore these animals and look after them so well. But, you know, from a
They're
genetic...
not healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't matter how well you look after them, they can't be healthy because they've been genetically modified to that extent that they're just not capable of being healthy.
Yeah. If you pick up a dog and have to be as careful with it as you do an Airfix model, then it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it shouldn't exist.
They shouldn't have fucking done it.
Yeah.
So that's what Anyway, interestingly, it could be that thousands of years of evolution has allowed humans and canines, dogs, to bond chemically.
Okay, so the whole kind of, man's best friend thing again is actually...
It could be chemical. When an owner dotes on its dog...
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about that bullshit.
Yeah, no,
just rubs it or cuddles it or sits with it and it's comfortable lying in their presence. The owner gets an oxytocin dump in their brains, but the dog also gets that oxytocin dump.
Okay.
You know, and oxytocin is the love chemical.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So chemically, your interaction with your dog has given you a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
You've gotten an oxytocin dump. The dog is getting the oxytocin up. And dogs are the only things on the planet that love you more than they love themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean you can be shit to a dog and it'll still love you.
No, I don't think that's true. You shouldn't be shit to a dog anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying.
If you're nasty to a dog, he'll fucking bite you.
No, but if it tends to be someone else's dog.
But if
it's your dog.
If you come home in a shitty mood and fucking get away from me, Rover or Max or whatever the dog's name is, he'll come back in 10 minutes and still want to make you happy, still need your affection.
Yeah.
So there's that, but bottom line is don't be shitty to dogs.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So you get an oxytocin dump and so does your dog. Some dogs know when you're sad. They know when you're happy. Everybody knows when you're happy. And any other number of emotions.
And there's also a thing where supposedly dogs can detect when you're like seriously ill.
Yeah, dogs know when you're sick.
Right.
Dogs have been known to smell when somebody is sick with, I don't know, a cancer, a bowel blockage, or an intestinal thing, or something like that. Before the person has been diagnosed. So your dog's sense of smell, and I unfortunately didn't look at how much better it is than humans, but it's immeasurably better.
Multiples. Yeah.
Every dog you see is related in some way to a grey wolf that existed a couple 100,000 years ago. So go and give your dog a rub and tell it you know who it's related to, but that's okay. You don't mind.
Very good. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that.
2 last things.
Yeah.
Feel free to post us a picture of your dog on our Facebook page.
Yeah, which is I'm not the expert, but.
I'm not the expert, but. And go and love your dog and love it until.
And if you don't have a dog and
the end of time,
and you're considering getting a dog,
adopt.
Please adopt a dog.
Adopt,
please.
don't buy.
Yes.
And adopt. Going back to our superstitious podcast, adopt a black one. Even though it's not a cat.
My dad had a black dog many, many moons ago, and it had the same name as the mascot of the Dam Buster Squadron. It's a word no we're ever going to say.
Yeah, I saw that movie and I couldn't believe it. I was like, my God, are they actually doing that?
I will leave you to look it up. But yeah, apparently my dad's dog was called that as well, and he didn't name it. I will.
Yes, no, it's not right. Anyway,
as I was saying, please adopt or go to the pound and rescue a dog. You know, keep away from the puppy farms and the designer pooches, please.
Yeah, they're rubbish. Okay. Dogs are awesome and they deserve to be loved.